Anthony C. asked, I noticed you mentioned classical saxophone a few times. Are you trying to highlight a distinction with jazz saxophone? How would your advice change for jazz? Okay, that's a good question. So, there's definitely a change. There's actually a huge change. This is why a lot of jazz saxophone players sound really bad in classical, and this is why a bunch of classical saxophone players sound really bad in jazz, because they're not quite making the change. So first, both require a different mouthpiece and reed setup, and in a lot of cases a different saxophone setup. I don't have that much money, and if it were up to me, I'd get a Mark VI saxophone for jazz, but luckily this is the YAS62, and it's pretty versatile. It can pull off both. So what a jazz mouthpiece does, this is a customized John Thomas, but there's a lot of great jazz mouthpieces, at least a lot more great jazz mouthpieces than there is a great classical mouthpieces. So what a jazz mouthpiece does is that ideally you want the chamber of it, the inside portion, to be wider. That way you can get a bigger, wider, bright sound. So like this. Now, I'm going to try to do that on my classical setup. I'll be right back. So this is the Selmer Concept. It is about $200. And to me, it's easily the best classical mouthpiece on the market right now. It's really nowhere near as expensive as the top jazz mouthpieces. So with the jazz embouchure, everything was more looser, more free-blowing. The back of my tongue wasn't quite that high. And I kind of just let my reed just go, you know? I try to get out the way as much as possible, just let this sound just fill. Now classical, I'm thinking resonance. How can I make the whole room just vibrate with dark, warm sound? And it's focused sound. The air has to be much faster. And on jazz, I like the anchor tongue, meaning, okay, I don't have a beautiful bottom row of teeth. It means that I put the tip of my tongue under here, and then I tongue with this part. Right there. Now in classical, I'm all tip to tip. And the back of my tongue is raised, so instead of I'm like like Disney. That way it makes my sound a lot more focused. Now what a classical mouthpiece is designed to do is to take your sound and kind of narrow it down so it's more focused and more direct. And that is what gives you a darker sound, but it makes it harder to cut because, you know, in classical, you're designed to play with an ensemble and you want to blend. So it's not about sticking out. Now, if I try the jazz embouchure with the classical setup, the sound that you get is kind of similar, but if you were standing in front of me, you would probably cringe. This is me trying to play jazz on this classical mouthpiece. Oh my god. I hear a lot less air, but it's just not as loud. There's a lot more resistance I gotta push through. But for classical, that's perfect. I'm gonna use a classical embouchure. Different ballpark. In fact, it's almost like playing two totally separate instruments, at least in here. In jazz, you do a lot of stop tonguing, like, and in classical, you don't, unless like your music is like kind of like new music and it's specifically calling for like muted notes. But if I try to do classical on a jazz setup, this is what it sounds like. It's just bright, and the middle register is a little more buzzy, and the top register is just kind of thin and shrill. I can kind of get away with it, but like someone who is really experienced in jazz, or if you're at an audition and you sound like that, they're gonna notice, and you're gonna be put way further back.